I gotta see if there's anything else I need to do. Okay, y'all, and we're live.
Hey,
Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm Dex Jones.
I'm Donovan Variste.
I'm Deja, aka Millazilla _.
And this is the Authentically Black Podcast. This is our second show. We were under the boys with the news name at first, but we changed to Authentically Black Podcast to make it more inclusive. So that's pretty much why we changed the name. So we got Deja here with us now. We had Donna with us last time. Deja.
I wasn't here last time, but now.
Yeah. She's here with us now. So we're here just to get into a few topics, talk about a few things, to get people to understand different things that go in the Black community as a whole. So if y'all could tune in, that'd be great. Okay, y'all, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're just here to talk about a few topics today, and y'all can actually chime in too and give your perspective. And we're actually going to be adding some of y'all into here. If y'all want to come on here and talk with us about a few topics, just let us know. You can send us a few messages here. You can comment. We'll actually see all your comments, so just let us know. All right, well, let's just go ahead and get into it, y'all. The first topic we're going to talk about is what's been going on all this weekend. Everybody been blowing up Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all about this entanglement conversation. I'm sure y'all seen it too, right? It's been all down y'all timeline. So we're just here to talk about that today, to figure out what y'all feel about it, because everybody got a whole perspective of how they feel about this whole entanglement conversation with Will and Jada. If for those y'all didn't see, I'm going to play a quick video, and then we can talk about it. So
you and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened?
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely.
Okay, that's just a short clip, but I'm sure a lot of y'all already seen it at this point. Will and Jada pretty much admitted on the discussion that they had a separate relationship going, or separate. They were separated at the time, and they pretty much, she went her way, he went his way. And I guess somehow in between that time period, she ended up getting into a relationship with August. And I actually didn't think she was going to admit to it. But I think at that point, because August had so many receipts, she eventually came out and just admitted to it. But August was insinuating that her and Will have an open relationship, which has been a discussion in Hollywood for a long period of time. But they kind of strayed away from that topic and made it seem as if they were separated. And he was done with her, and she was doing her thing, and he was doing his thing. So I'm not sure what y'all think about that, but what do y'all think about it?
Honestly, in my personal opinion, when it comes to those type of relationships, it's different type of relationships. And of course, that's Hollywood relationships. And we all know it is a lot of different things that goes on in Hollywood. So it looks like, allegedly, you always heard rumors that they have open relationship. And from my understanding, it looked like they actually was not legally, they was separated. They wasn't divorced, but they were separated for at least 3-4 years. So, and that being said, Will Smith was doing him, Jada was doing her. And so that's pretty much what happened. Of course, I'm pretty sure they didn't do any non-disclosure agreement. And so August came out in public and actually talked about the relationship that they had. Of course, in their mind, they probably didn't think that August went on a national platform to talk about that type of relationship. And of course, they have their brand, Jada have her brand, and Will Smith. And now they're in a different state of mind. They're back together again. It's obvious that you can tell they love each other. It's just something happened. I'm pretty sure.
Well, you can tell that Will's pissed off, though. He really pissed off by it. I think he really was. Yeah.
He is. Don't get it twisted. He's going to be upset. And I think any man will be upset, for your woman to sit in this table and say that she was not happy. So I would feel some type of way too. If my wife is on this platform saying I wasn't happy, even if she wasn't happy, I would have thought that, she would have said it openly in a national platform like that she wasn't happy. So it does make you feel less, and especially ego put into place with that. So yeah, definitely. I kind of felt bad for him.
Video when she was with August, she said it was like the first time in a while that she had been happy. which was crazy to me. I'm like, okay, we've been with this dude for so long, and you said this is the first time in a while that you've been happy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But to be honest with you, this is what I think, though. This is what I think. I think that Jada, if you look at her track record, she always been a fixer. So she always attract projects. So Will Smith is not a typical guy that she would be with. She usually, like if you think about Tupac, you know, she always attract opposite, and she always feel the need to fix them, just like she mentioned. So that always been her track record. So her being with Will Smith, I think, like you say, she needed healing. You know, instead of her trying to fix somebody else, she needed to fix herself. And so that's a healing that she never really did, or she never really seek, you know, help for. So I think this being exposed, I think now she's going through the healing process. So this had to happen for her to see herself, because obviously,
I think you're right about that. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Because I think, Deja, what was you saying earlier that you wanted to talk about? You said you feel like it was kind of a whole bias type of situation.
Yeah, because well, now that you talked about, because you know I've only just seen the memes, and now that you're saying like they've been separate for like a few years, and in the middle, that puts it into perspective a little bit, because I didn't know that. The way I see it is, you know, you have things like that. These actors have flings. You know, Brad Pitt have flings. There's so many, and I'm pretty sure that Will Smith, he probably had flings when they were like officially together. But my thing is, you know, I feel like it's a little sexist, because it's like, you know, powerful men and celebrities, they like male celebrities, they do these things all the time. They have flings, they have side johns, that's just the thing. It's in a man's nature. But I feel like when women do it, you know, it's seen as it's seen as news. It's like a headliner. And I just feel like, I don't know if it's because we're in quarantine and they ain't got nothing else to talk about with that thing. Because my thing is, August coming out with his receipts, I'm like, dude, you need to be worried about putting out music. Because I haven't heard, I don't know if he has any new music out. I haven't heard anything from him in a while. So I don't even know if that's like a propaganda to get his name out there again. I have no idea.
It could be. A lot of people thinking that he's going to eventually drop an album after all of this, because, you know, a lot of celebrities do that. Bring up something controversial just to get.
I would too. I would drop an album too.
Because, you know, his last few albums flopped. His last few albums didn't do too well. So it could be a way for him to try to sell music. You know, it's possible.
And then on top of that, I feel like if Will and Jada were separate for a little bit, they have every right to talk to other people. I mean, and I don't think that's an open relationship kind of situation if they weren't together. I don't know. It's kind of like when women do that, it's a big deal. It's like news, you know. But I'm sure, you know, Will is an international superstar. He traveled, he goes everywhere. He's been everywhere. So it's like, you don't think that there's a possibility he could have flings with other famous women, or, you know, it's kind of like, why are they coming at Jada? Is it because she has a successful table talk now? Like that was just my initial thought. That was just my opinion when I saw it.
And I do believe it's possible that people are more hard on her because it's normal for a man to cheat, but for a woman to cheat is not normal.
It's like, oh, it's like,
yeah. But that's why I see them on the memes where it's like a man can cheat on a woman 100 times, but the woman cheat that one time. That one time.
It's over.
Yeah. Trust but do you feel like society has normalized cheating for men? It's normal now.
Go ahead, Donald.
No. I was going to say, I don't feel like that is normal or anything like that. I mean, I think it's really up to the relationship, you know, what kind of agreement that they have, because every relationship is different. You know, like with the Jada and Will Smith relationship, these are things we've been hearing for years. I know when I was in high school, I heard about, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody always said that they had an open relationship.
Yeah, because I always heard that. They had that type of relationship. They never came out and confirmed that's the relationship that they had or anything like that. But this is something that's been taught for a long time in entertainment.
But to be honest, if it was true, I wouldn't second guess it, because both of them are very powerful individuals. They got a lot of money at their expense. So, like, they got a lot of free time on their hands. They can do whatever they want. They can buy whoever, do whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can understand if that was the case, if that was what's going on, I would really understand it. So that's why I really thought they was going to come out and just say, hey, we had an open relationship, versus it was an entanglement. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but I feel like open the whole open relationship topic is very different. People see it differently, and not all the time people are comfortable with it. Especially, and for me, if I had any kind of relationship with my man, I would, and if I was a celebrity, I wouldn't be telling the world. Like it's none of nobody's business.
That's
you know?
true.
But
That's true.
so yeah, but with Dexter, what you said about like it cheating for men being normalized, I just think that it's one of those things where it's a male privilege kind of thing, because like it's not that it's normalized, it's just like it's men have more leverage when it comes to that, because it's supposed to be in a man's nature to do that anyway. It's like justified more. So not that it's normalized now, I feel like it's kind of always been like that, so.
Oh, we had VJ said, oh, when Jada said, that's why she said, oh, you paid me back. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the part of somebody when he was like saying they was gonna get. It's like they kind of paying tit for tat at this point with each other. I think at this point too.
But Will been having there is no way that Will Smith has been faithful the whole time.
I'm sure he probably hasn't.
Come on now. I'm not saying because he's a man. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying because he's an international superstar. Like they throwing it. They just throwing it at you every angle. Like it's the game. So I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have if he was doing that when they were still together, especially when she was pregnant. Because you know how certain marriages are when the female gets pregnant. It's like it's kind of like. Because if I was pregnant, I would not be having a time all the time. I would not be feeling like doing nothing. But I've never been pregnant. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So.
And then Andrew said that no, he was on vacation with another woman Jada knew, and that's true too. What Andrew mentioned, because it was a situation where it went to the house.
He went on
when they
vacation.
didn't say that he wasn't. Because remember, I don't know if you remember the situation where Lisa Ray, and then Lisa Ray, I think the man that she was talking to at the time, and then Will Smith was also with him, and then they allegedly, that's what she said, that he was bad, that Will Smith was bad for her husband or boyfriend.
No, you're talking about Dwayne Martin. Dwayne Martin was friends with Lisa Ray, and he ended up allegedly. They said that Dwayne Martin and Will Smith may have had something going on, because there was a time where they went and locked themselves in a hotel room for an entire week, allegedly. So that's how that whole situation got intertwined, because Dwayne Martin and Will Smith were very close friends. I mean, they also produced the show All of Us. Jada and Will produced All of Us, which Dwayne Martin and Lisa Ray were the lead characters on. So that's why they were saying that this open relationship that they have may be more open than we actually think it may be. So like people were even trying to allege them as being swingers, if you get, you know what I mean? So that's why that video with Lisa Ray resurfaced, and it ended up going to a whole nother situation where now they're bringing that back up again. But yeah, but this is a story that's going to be ongoing. If y'all want to continue to keep chiming in, just let us know. We're going to go to the next topic, Donald. You're on the next topic.
Yeah, so pretty much the next topic that I'm going to bring to the table, I know a lot of people like to say I like to be deep, so I like to bring a little consciousness when it comes to what's going on.
Please.
Yeah, so the topic that I will be talking about is the Casual Killing Act that was presented in 1669, and so many of us don't understand, and it actually intertwined with what's going on right now with the police killing, or just when it comes to Caucasian people killing Black people. So it goes back to the Casual Killing Act in 1669. And so we want to go ahead. Here's the video, and I'll elaborate a little bit more about my topic.
Before we get into the Casual Killing Act, the Casual Killing Act was written because of the number of people who were killed while being corrected. Okay. And if any slave resists his master, owner, or other person by his or her order, correcting such slave, and shall happen to be killed in such correction, it shall not be counted felony, but the master, owner, and every other person so giving correction shall be acquitted of all punishment and accusation for the same, as if such accident had never happened. So that means that if you happen to be correcting someone and you beat them to death, you know how hard it is to beat someone to death? I mean, I thought about that. I said it happens so frequently that they created a law so that you wouldn't feel any what? No guilt, because you were simply correcting them. Wasn't your fault. So I went back to look at who was beating folks to death. I wanted to know. And it was white women. White women were beating black children to death. That's who was being beaten to death. But she wasn't.
Well, that's deep, right? So the
Well,
act that was presented in the casual killing in 1669, sometime in order for you to move forward, you got to know, sometimes people say don't talk about the past, don't talk about the past, but you have to know the root of the situation in order for us to move forward. So we have a lot of conversation. We talk about, to actually, come against, the different police departments, and all of these different things that we hear about. But do you know it's still laws that are in place that was passed back in the days, and those laws have not been removed from a lot of these different common laws in different states. Let's talk about different states that have different common laws, and these laws are in place to protect, anybody else that's outside of the race of a black person. So that being said, when we thinking about like them just killing us, because I have a criminal justice degree for those who don't know. And one of the things that I used to always ask, my professor, which was a judge, and I also had a lot of police officers. I had people that was highway patrol, and me being a civilian that was sitting in the class. And I used to always ask questions about, so why do you guys, do racial profiling of black men? Why is this and why is that? And so when we look at the history of it, a lot of these police department was not ever really created, to protect us. It was to protect the rich. It was to protect the Caucasians. That's what it was always in place for. So when we talk about like we want to stop these police brutalities and to stop all of these things, we have to go to the laws. We have to remove some of these common laws, because guess what's going to happen? When they go to court, they be able to present these laws into court. And so, which would always have these people to be out easily because they can use certain laws, and this would allow them to be free. So when I look at this, it really irks me because they created the law just to kill slaves. That's pretty much what it was. So it didn't like, it's like if you're beating someone, this is a law, I can kill you. Oh, you disobey me, I'm going to kill you.
Pretty much like the stand your ground law. Pretty much the stand your ground law is a law for people to kill other people for no reason at all. They could just find a reason that, hey, I want to stand my ground for this reason, and make it up and use it in court and end up winning, which is what happened to Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin, had he been alive, a lot of people don't even know this, but Trayvon Martin was convicted of a crime. Like, how you convict a dead man of a crime? But they used the stand your ground law to convict him. So had he been alive, I think they said he would have did 2 years in prison. Don't quote me on that, but I think he would have did some time in prison had he been alive. So they convicted a dead man of a crime. You know what I'm saying?
He was young.
He was young.
He was barely a man.
Yeah, but they consider that's how the court portrayed him. They portrayed him as a thug. They portrayed him as a grown adult. Like, they portrayed him in so many types of ways to make the jury. Well, I don't even think they made the jury. The jury already had the decision made up in their mind. But I get what you're saying, Donald. Like, there are laws that are set up in place to make black people's lives harder and to incriminate black people. It's a whole system set up to put black people.
Yeah, it's designed. It's designed for others to succeed and others to fail. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So when I hear things. So that's go back to when I hear things and they say dismantling, the police and all of this stuff. Why don't we dismantle these laws? Why don't we dismantle these common laws in these different states? So
they create new laws to protect everybody.
Exactly correct. So so the laws have to be equal. Have to be equal across the board. And these are the conversations that people are really not having. And these are conversations that
right. It's like we taking Aunt Jemima off the box, and we removing all these Confederate statues. We doing all this stuff, but it's like what really needs to be done is the laws need to be changed. That's what you're going to find people making the situations different now, and that's why you're going to have. You see how they had all those police officers quit in the UK or whatever because they banned people being able to put people's knee on people's neck. That's not a tactic they can use anymore. And it was a tactic that was introduced to them that allowed them to de-escalate situations. It was like worst case scenario, but not just to put your knee on somebody's neck that's already handcuffed. So they utilized the system that was created for them to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
So,
Donald, I think it's interesting because that that law that you said was in 16 something that passed.
Yeah, 69.
I didn't know about that, and so it's like I didn't know about that specifically, but subconsciously I did. And let me explain. Before the whole George Floyd thing, obviously there's a pattern that police kill Black men and women, not just men. They kill us, like all of us.
yeah, exactly.
Children, men, women, and children, right? So I was thinking to myself, why, not only why is this happening, but why is this happening so much, and why are they getting away with it? Why is it being justified? And I always thought to myself, I should have looked it up. I don't know why, but I always thought to myself, there must be something. There must be something that they're telling these officers in training, or something behind the scenes. They must be telling them something to have them profile, to have them do what they do, and then get away with it. Like, there has to be something in place.
This is my theory on it. I'm gonna tell you my theory. My theory is I feel that the KKK has infiltrated the police department. I feel the KKK. That's the reason why they have meetings to this day. And I tell people this all the time. They are inside of the police department, and they're using the police department to keep Black people as second-class citizens, and also try the best way they can to wipe out the entire Black nation. You know what I'm saying? It's all types of things they have set up that they're trying to do to keep us from reaching our full potential in America.
Exactly. That is never going to happen. If
it's never going to happen, but they're trying very hard.
But you know what? They know that, and that's what scares them. They know that they are really in the numerical minority. If they're not now, they will be in like 30, 40 years. And they're in certain things don't just happen because they're happening. Everything happens for a reason. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And the KKK is still legal, which is, I didn't know that until this year. I think it's ridiculous. Like, why?
Because they work with the government. That's exactly why. Because they all work together. It's an orchestrated act. The whole system is set up to design to keep Black people at a certain point where we are always at their mercy, or they feel like we're at their mercy, because we're not. Like, we are a very distinguished group of individuals, and that's what they don't like. Like, even at every cause that they have put against us, they have always moved the finish line. You see how Donald Trump just came out with a law, a couple weeks ago, was a month ago, where now pretty much to get federal jobs, you don't have to have a 4-year degree. They're based it off of basic skills. Like, do you know what that means? Like, that means a lot. Like, for them to say that, hey, no, you having a degree at this point doesn't matter. You can get any federal job without having a fucking degree. And now, like, it's like now you can just pretty much pick and choose who you want. So it's like every time, like, because Black people are getting degrees now at an all-time high now. Like, at this point. So now y'all gonna move the finish line again. Y'all gonna move the finish line to a whole nother point. Every time we get somewhere, y'all move the finish line again. It's like y'all make up situations, y'all design certain ways and certain strategies to where you can just keep Black people out of whatever you want to keep them out of. But either way it goes, we always find a way to get in.
That's a good point. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, Donald Trump just did that.
That's crazy.
And also to what I feel what is happening, to be honest with you, get a little deeper, I felt like things have shifted, so when you look at the new generation of Caucasians, they're not with what their ancestors did, so they are against it. And so I feel like they know that they're dying off, all of the races, they're dying. They're of age now. So they know they're dying. So they're trying to pass that type of, thing down to the next generation, but it's not working. So they're going to try to do as much as they can, but it is a shift. It is a shift that's happening. And even with the protests, you see is more, of the Caucasians now that are out there protesting. So they're going against their parents, they're going against their grandparents, so they have a mind of their own. So it is a shift that's happening. And I believe that's probably why you see some of the things that you do see. And so they are the next.
Because they fight against the change. They want everything to be the way it is. They're used to the racist society, especially because a lot of people in America are like, okay, if it doesn't affect me, then why should it matter? And even some Black people in the Black community are like that. Because I had a conversation with a few friends. They'll be like, well, why should I go protest? Why should I go out there and do this? Like, what, why I'm doing fine. I'm gonna tell you, oh, you're doing fine right now, but what if you were one of the victims of police?
Well,
You want somebody to stand up for you.
That's funny you say that because that's exactly what my topic is about.
Oh, okay, let's go into that then.
That's exactly what my topic is about. Yeah, I mean, okay, so this will be the last topic for the day, and then I guess after that we'll wrap up. But that's exactly what I was gonna talk about. I was gonna talk about empathy / and the lack of empathy when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement. So first of all, to me, Black Lives Matter is not just a hashtag. It's not just a cute thing that you say just to get likes and just to give you. It's a real thing. It's a thing that we've been talking about forever. And I find it interesting that, certain, people that are not Black, even Black people, they're like, oh, I'm learning about this for the first time and I'm learning about that for the first time. And we're just sitting there like, we've been talking about this. This is no new news at all. But for me, I don't have an attitude like, oh, you're just now, why are y'all just now, being hyped about this? I think it's regardless of how late people are, we all are in a brainwashed society. So of course, a lot of, for example, white people, they're not always going to know about certain things because their history they're not taught to know, learn, or care about that stuff. If they do, that's their choice, to seek other research, to seek outside research. And that's what a lot of Black people need to do too. We all have a job to do. We need to work on our communities. We need to work on education. Everyone has a job to do. Now, I think it's beautiful. I asked two people, my grandmother, she's in her 70s, and another older gentleman, I think he's in his late 60s, 70s, late 60s, early 70s. I asked both of them, I said, compared to how you grew up and now, what do you think that people are more aware of the racial injustice and the things and violence towards Black people than they were before? Do you think that people care more? Like, what is your opinion? Has it been a huge shift? Because my grandma was born in 1949, so she grew up in the KKK era and all that stuff. So, and the civil rights movement, all that. And they both said, yeah, they were like, I'm extremely proud of everyone, not just our Black youth, but everyone who has their hand in the movement and, talking about these different issues. She said, this is the most time.
That says a lot, though. For them to say that says a lot.
Yeah, it's like, this is the time. She said that this year has been the most talk about Black lives and just about unity. Like, this is this era, this timeline we're in right now is the most united we've ever been in the history of the United States. So, that's powerful.
Right.
But that's the positive part of it. What you were saying, Dex, which got, is related to what I was going to say, is empathy. A lot of people don't have empathy, and you kind of need to have empathy in order to understand the things that are going on. Now, I looked up the definition of empathy, and it says that empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. So basically, imagining walking in someone's shoes. You need to have empathy, some form of empathy, to understand what we're going through, what we've been talking about. If you don't care, if you don't give a damn about nobody else, you're not going to see, why this matter is good for everybody, not just Black people. Because you have to understand, when you're trying to improve something or succeed, you have to start from the bottom and work your way up. You can't talk about police brutality against Asians and Hispanics when you don't talk about Black people first, because we get the rut. We're in the rut. We're on the bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything. What do they say? If America, I can't think of the quote, but it's something. It's always like, if something happens to America, we always get it the worst. And that's not a bias. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. And if you can't accept that, then it's just like you just need.
You can't accept reality. That's why I tell people all the time. You got to keep it real with something. You got to keep it real. Like, you cannot look at this situation and think that, oh, it's just something that they're making up. They're just trying to make themselves be victims. Because I know I'm not a victim. I find every way I can get above anything in society. I'm not a victim, but I know for a fact even though I might not go through it, one of my brothers might be going through it. One of my sisters might be going through it, and I see this on a daily basis. So I know for a fact that this is true. Even though I'm smart and I find my ways to get past different things in the society, the next person might not have that same type of privilege that I may have to understand certain things or how to get around certain different things. So either way it goes, it's something that's happening. People need to accept that fact in order for us to be able to move forward as a group of people.
Yeah, but like
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you can go ahead.
But see, that all goes back to having empathy.
Right, exactly.
Empathy, you can't. It's gonna be hard for you to understand, and some people don't even care to understand. They don't even care to educate themselves. They continue to listen to the brainwash, that we grew up with, basically. And it's like you really, like, in order to, you really have to step outside of yourself and everything you learn, and open your mind to listen to new things. Listening to the same stuff and the same knowledge. Don't trust me. Social studies in school and history, it's a lot of lying. It's a lot of
It's
lying.
rigged. It's rigged. It's definitely rigged, because social studies actually brainwashed me to a certain point in life. When I was in school, I used to believe some of the things that they taught us until I actually got out of school and actually was able to research things outside of the library of books that they gave us, because everything that they give us in school is a complete lie. Like, majority of that shit is pretty much, it's just putting a Band-Aid on something. It's not really giving Black people the understand, because we get 1 month of Black history in school, but we don't really, to be honest, we really don't understand the full depth and the full cause and situations of what happened to African Americans in the past. We really, us, even to this day, we don't know the whole concept of what happened, because if we really knew, like, I feel like at this point it would cause us to react to society in a different type of way, for us to join together and for us to be one group.
Exactly.
If we really actually knew what happened to our people in the past. But they have done a good job at covering that up. Like, they covered that up for so long, to the point where now on social media, now people are getting more information about our people. And that's what I like about social media. That's one of the good things I like about it, because I've done a lot of research and I figured out a lot of things that I didn't know growing up. So now it's like, it's actually making me love me and my culture even more than I did even before.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, for me, I grew up I will never forget, in elementary school, it was probably like 4th grade. I've had a few students, we talked about it. It was in February, and, like, students who weren't Black would always be like, why is there Black history? Why does that exist? Isn't that racist? Isn't that biased? And I'm just like, think about it. For me, coming out of elementary school, the only thing I knew about Black history was we were slaves. That's the only thing that I ever was taught when it came to Black history, was always about slavery. As if we didn't have a history before slavery, as if our people weren't on this planet longer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very rigged, like you said. And so, yeah, don't say, oh, why is there Black history? Like, we learn all kinds of cool and interesting things about, how the Caucasian Americans, well, they're not called Caucasian Americans, like, we're called African Americans, but you know what I'm saying? How the European
I ain't gonna lie. Some people might get upset when I say all of this, but it's been shoved down our throat for years. They taught us. We learned all types of things about their culture. We learned about their culture before we can even learn about our culture at some times. That's why we get that 1 month. You know what I'm saying? We have to always learn about Christopher Columbus, Stephen asked. We have to learn about fucking just dumb shit. Like, and then all of the inventions that they claim that white people had invented were mostly invented by Black people.
Yeah.
So it's like, and a lot of people don't even know that a lot of inventions that Black people, white people took the credit for, were blended by Black people. So it's like they have a lot of lies in history books that they need to fix and they need to correct in order for us to understand things, so we can make sure that history doesn't repeat itself. Because if we don't understand history is going to always repeat itself, and that's just how it's going to work. But we have to learn from history in order for us to go and move forward.
You guys know that if they start telling the truth in history class, then that's going to dismantle white supremacy. 100%.
It will, but that's what they don't want, and that's what crazy. That's where it's going to start at. That's where it's going to start, and that's why they don't want that to get out there. That's why this whole thing with the Confederate statues, the Confederate flag, they're acting like they're holding on to Southern pride, but you're holding on to white supremacy. You could just keep, you could say white, you could hold it on to Southern pride all you want to, but just keep it real. You're holding on to white supremacy, and you're just afraid that if Black people actually understand at least half of the greatness that they have, that we would dismantle this whole white supremacy system and create our own system, and we won't even need y'all anymore. And that's what they're afraid of.
I mean, but Black people did that before, so I mean,
right, exactly. But they burnt the cities down. They burnt multiple cities down that we created.
that point too. So
What'd you
so
say,
it's like,
Donald?
it's not to say, no, I was going to say that black people did create their own system at one point. They had Black Wall Streets and they burned it down, you know. So it seemed like every time black
But do
people
you think,
do
like, how do you think?
something,
What
that's
if that was to
always
happen? What if that was to happen right now? What do you think would happen if we actually created a Black Wall Street and we
Well,
actually had
here's
our own airport and our own banks and our own
Donald,
systems? What if we? What do you?
Donald is right. He's right. And what I say is because we've done it. We've done it a bunch of times, and it keeps, you know, you know why? It's because as soon as we think things are better, we kind of just, you know, let it, kind of dissolve a little bit. We need to continue to talk about race topics. We need to continue to fight for our people. Even when things get better, it needs to always be a conversation, because when you don't talk about something, it's forgotten about. And then other shit starts piling up, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what happens. Just because someone destroys your neighborhoods, we have to, black people, we are strong. We have to just, unfortunately, we have to keep trying. We have to keep building. We just gonna have to keep doing it. We cannot give up. And not saying we did give up, but the when things get better, you know, like the slaves, when they weren't slaves anymore, you know, they're worried about kind of getting their families back together and, you know, like kind of like building up.
Trying to live a normal life.
We need to continue to talk about these things. We need to continue. We can't stop. And when, you know, an ignorant racist person's like, oh, well, haven't you had enough? Aren't you satisfied? No, we're not satisfied. We're never going to be satisfied until everyone is treated equally. That's it.
And then back to what you were saying in reference to empathy. I was going to say, I've noticed that for some rich black folks, I want to say a lot of them are like in the sunken place, you know. So a lot of the time they
get to a point where they're like,
and so they really forget where they come from, you know, for the most part. So when they get to that certain status and they have that certain platform, they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to come against, you know, their white colleagues or their billionaire colleagues. So they try to remain quiet, and where they do have a voice to speak against these type of injustice that's happening. And that's the reason why I want to give it up to like people like the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's that are taking their platform. They're really working behind the scenes when it coming to, you know, the governors and the senators and writing these letters and petitions, and they're really using their platform. And as you can see, when they do that, they will come against them, but at the same time, they understand the purpose of why they're there. And so but it's not that many though.
You got your white celebrities who are pissed off and saying stuff. You got everybody is talking now. So it's like, you know, when you're a celebrity, sometimes you want to maintain your image and you kind of want to, like, you know, because Hollywood will come for your neck. If you're doing something that they don't like, they'll try to come for your career. But I feel like it's different now because everyone has their hand in, everyone's speaking about it. Not just black people, Asian people, Hispanic people, Native American, everybody is talking about it.
Which is good, because this is something that everybody needs to do together in order for us. And you had said something earlier where you was like, it's not just to benefit us, it's to benefit everybody. Like, this is not just to benefit because you understand that our people have a lot of ideas that we contributed to society in the past, and it's going to be more to contribute in the future. So if you try to wipe us out as a race and try to make it seem like y'all could just do it without us, y'all brought us here for a reason. Y'all knew for a fact y'all needed us. You know what I'm saying? We was sleeping in Africa chilling.
We are American, all of us, no matter what your color is, if you're born here or if you were raised here or you went to school here, whatever, you are American. So it's not just white Americans contributing to the American culture. It's all of us. We all have a job to do. So and this is a global thing. This is not just black people in America. There are black people all around the world who are oppressed. So everyone's hands we all need each other's hands in that pot and to do something about it, because we can't do it by ourselves. Everybody has to have a hand in it. So
yeah,
that's why I gotta say about that.
Look here, to my facts. Y'all see in the comments? Hey, y'all can comment too if y'all want to. Y'all can put some comments in here if you want to talk to us. It's the people watching. Y'all want to leave some comments to tell us like what y'all want to say. Like I told you, we can even bring y'all on here, whatever. But y'all can list some comments on here and let us know how y'all feel about what we talking about. You know, y'all can keep it real, keep it 100 with us, and let us know exactly how y'all feel.
Yeah, y'all been mad quiet this whole time. I know y'all got opinions, like we do. We're very opinionated, clearly.
Yeah, I'm very opinionated. Sometimes some of my opinions, they get the best of me. A lot of people know on social media because y'all follow me and y'all know exactly how I get sometimes. But I have a very, very big opinion on certain things that I talk about, especially if it deals with the black community. I do get very passionate. and I get to, get in my feelings sometimes, but that's just how I am. But I'm very opinionated, and I want to hear y'all opinions too, because, we can all talk about this conversation and get us to, understand each other at the same time.
Well, yeah, your opinions are what make you an individual. So I never, I always have stuff to say, and people, you get backlash, or people say, it's like,
I'm not afraid of the backlash or losing followers. Like, I'm always going to speak up and say what I want to say. Like, I post my funny stuff here and there. I say my, my piece on certain things, but, no matter if I lose a follower or if somebody wants to block me or go off on me and tell me how they feel about me, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm not losing any sleep at night over that. I'm not losing any sleep at all. But I'm still going to say how I feel. You have to respect me, and I'm going to respect you. That's why I said, if y'all want to talk to us, we'll talk to y'all. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. And it is what it is.
Yep.
But
well,
we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're going to actually be back here every Sunday. Y'all can tune in again. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to my YouTube channel that we have created together.
If you go on YouTube and type in Authentically Black Podcast, it'll show up. Okay,
yeah, type in Authentically Black Podcast and subscribe to our channel. This video is going to be viewable on there. It'll be on there for y'all to go back and look at or whatever. Y'all can still comment, and we'll be responding back, and we'll keep the conversation going. So we'll be back next week with more conversation and more topics.
Okay.
I'm Dex Jones, just for y'all who don't know.
And I'm Donald Variste.
And I'm Deja, a.k.a. Millazilla _.
And we are the Authentically Black Podcast. Thank you.
Yes. Have a great night, guys.